Good morning. It is 9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. You know where to find it. iHeart, TuneIn, the FM dial. You can also watch it. Super Talk TV, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with your friends. We appreciate you doing so. We got a lot to get to today. Yesterday during the show, we were trying to react in real time. This is one of the tough things about the 9 to 12 shift, and hey, I'm not digging ditches, so let's be perfectly honest. Like there's not a lot that's hard about this job, okay? And we can all agree on that. But one of the tougher things is things are happening in real time, and while we're doing the show, it's hard to digest what you're seeing. And yesterday during the show, we had the Pam Bondi hearing, and it's a lot of spin. There's a lot of spin. There's a lot of spin on the right. There's a lot of spin on the left. And I don't know if you noticed this. A lot of my sources come from the right. So as we're diving into the Pam Bondi stuff yesterday, there's a lot of spin from the right. And I'm listening to her go off about the Dow while she's deflecting from questions about Epstein. And I was like, okay. As I'm trying to react to this in real time, I'm like, I need more time to digest this because there's a lot to unpack here. Well, I took that time last night, and I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. It should have been Matt Gaetz. We should have had Matt Gaetz as Attorney General. Pam Bondi is absolute trash. She epitomizes swamp creature at this point. Either that or she is fearing for her life, in which case, not to be sexist, maybe we don't need a female as the Attorney General of the United States of America. Maybe, just maybe. Maybe she's covering for people. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. But when you listen to Pam Bondi's testimony yesterday, it was absolute trash. I'm sorry. I'm as disappointed as you are. I wanted her to be a good Attorney General. I hoped. I gave her the benefit of the doubt. Does she do the small things right? Yep, she sure does. We've gotten some arrests out of Attorney General Pam Bondi. But this is the big one, lady. You've arrived at the show. This is not some drug trafficker on the street. This is not a one-off child predator. This is something that is going to absolutely rock the world if it ever comes to full light. And she was trash. I'm sorry. I don't know how you describe it any other way. I don't. And I want to champion this administration. I think clearly this administration was a far better option than a Kamala Harris administration. I think this administration is doing a lot of things right. But the Attorney General of the United States of America dropped the ball yesterday, and she's been dropping the ball when it comes to the Epstein files. She absolutely has. And accountability at a certain point is going to fall at the feet of the president. And I think we're at that point. I think we're at that point. And I'm not impressed. I'm not. It was just awful yesterday. Where do we begin? Let's start with how she opened. She opened by saying that she is tirelessly working to fight for the survivors, the Epstein victims. And I hate to break it to you, when you're redacting co-conspirators, it's hard to take this statement at face value. Pam Bondi.
To address the Epstein files, more than 500 attorneys and reviewers spent thousands of hours painstakingly reviewing millions of pages to comply with Congress's law. We've released more than 3 million pages, including 180,000 images, all to the public, while doing our very best in the time frame allotted by the legislation to protect victims. And if you brought us a victim's name that was inadvertently released, we immediately redacted it. All members of Congress, as you know, are invited to visit DOJ to see for yourselves.
You know what's funny about members of Congress going to the DOJ to see for themselves? Every file that they open is being tracked by the federal government. Every single one. It's giving them the ick. I don't know if you know this. Nancy Mace exposed this. Nancy Mace was talking about this yesterday, that members of Congress who view any of the unredacted Epstein files are being tracked and surveilled through a Microsoft product. She says the system is intentionally clunky, and they are intentionally tracking them to see what they're looking at. This was Nancy Mace on that system on the unredacted files.
And I'm assuming, so I'm pretty tech savvy. I played around with the system. They're tracking every file that we open. And when we open it, they're tracking everything. And you can see the way that they're tracking you when you're logged in if you know where to look, like I do.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, how do you find that?
I don't want to say because then I want them to hide it.
Right.
But I can see how they're tracking us.
Wow.
So they give each of us a login with their name attached to it, and every single file that we open, regardless of if we even read it, every single file that we open, that file is tagged with our name. So they get the search history and the files that we opened. Everything.
How easy is it to even navigate things? Like, what's the physical space?
It's like a Microsoft product. It looks like Microsoft from '95.
Like a computer lab.
Yeah, it's actually kind of hard to navigate. So Microsoft from '95 was kind of clunky to navigate. This system is clunky.
Windows 95.
Windows 95, and it's clunky. But by the second day I went today, I kind of got it all figured out and how to do what I need to do to find what I want to find.
Figured it out, doing what I do to find what I need to find, but the system is tracking us every step of the way. It's a little sketchy. Nancy Mace sounded scared, by the way. She did an interview with Piers Morgan, and at least that's the route I'm taking. I think that she's scared, and I think a lot of people are scared when it comes to these Epstein files. I do, and I think that's all the more reason why we should have got somebody fearless in there, not Pam Bondi. But where we are right now. We'll get back to the Pam Bondi hearing in a moment, but first I want to play you another clip, also from Nancy Mace. This was on Piers Morgan last night. She warned that the names on the Epstein list will shock the entire world, and she apparently she knows the names. This is Nancy Mace last night on Piers Morgan.
But you would be shocked, Piers, that some of the names that I have seen that came across the DOJ in emails that the DOJ is protecting. And we're talking about people on both sides of the aisle. We're talking about famous people, rich people, people in power, prime ministers, former presidents, et cetera, media personalities that are named in these files. And that's why I say this is going to go down as the greatest cover-up, one of the greatest cover-ups in American history. And I don't believe the girls are actually going to see justice, which is why it's going to be incumbent upon people like Democrat Ro Khanna, Republican Thomas Massey. I'm a Republican myself who's willing to name some of those names in our committee work, on the floor of the House, whatever it takes, because this kind of thing cannot continue to go on. I want to give the next girl hope that when she comes forward, she won't be shamed. Her life won't be smeared in the Daily Mail or whatever the next press, is going to do. What they do to female victims and to children is disgusting because they're protecting their rich and powerful friends. But you'd be surprised, shocked even at some of the names in the file.
That's Nancy Mace last night on Piers Morgan. And I have a couple thoughts. Okay, when you allege a cover-up of this scale and you say that you've seen the names and you refuse to say the names yourself, well, congratulations, you're now involved in the cover-up. You just are. I'm so sick of this. If you guys only knew. Everybody knew. If you only knew. Who's going to start naming names? We can have these interviews with Piers Morgan, and that's great. That's great. You can even hear her at one point in this clip. She goes, I'm willing to say some of the names. Why not all of them, Nancy? Why not all of them? Well, gee whiz, guys, it's Republicans and Democrats. It's wealthy elites. It's media figures. It's celebrities. It's people in power. It's current and former prime ministers and presidents. Name the freaking names. Name them. And the same goes for Thomas Massey. The same goes for Ro Khanna. The same goes for all of these congressional reps that are viewing these files. Name the names. How many times have we heard that everybody knew what was going on? Cindy McCain, John McCain's wife, years ago, after Eye Patch died, she said, we all knew. We all knew about Epstein. Everybody knew. Everybody knew? Everybody knew. It was frustrating as all get out, dude. Name the names. Nancy Mace, you can harp on Thomas Massey for not being a MAGA guy. Are we going to do the same about Nancy Mace? Are we going to do the same about Lauren Boebert? Name the names. It's so frustrating on so many levels. Oh, gee whiz, guys, if we name names, it's going to take down everybody. Okay, cool. Like, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I kind of lean in with what Tim Burchett said a few weeks back. We need to bring back public hangings if they were involved in this kind of stuff. That's what we need. That's what the public is demanding. That's the kind of justice we want. That's the kind of accountability we're looking for, and we're not getting it. We're just not. And at a certain point, are we supposed to give up? Are we supposed to move on? What are we doing? But people are too comfortable, right? Like we're all too comfortable. We all got our own issues. We all have our own problems. We all got bills to pay. We have work to go to, and it's like, yeah, it feels like the entire public has been demoralized on ever getting justice and accountability for this. We've reached this place of mass awareness, mass awakening to what Jeffrey Epstein was doing, where you can go out and you can ask any Uber driver that comes to pick you up, you can ask any gas station attendant, you go into any restaurant in America, ask the waitress, everybody's going to know. But we're so apathetic to it. It's like nothing's going to happen. It's frustrating, dude. It is absolutely infuriating. I don't care who is implicated on either side. They all need to go down for this. Kids were harmed. Young girls were harmed. Politicians were blackmailed. Things happened as a result of this, and we're just scratching the surface. Nancy Mace says, well, geez, if you knew, if you only knew, then tell us. Tell us. Tell everyone. Thomas Massey, tell us. Tell everyone. Pam Bondi should absolutely be fired. She is trash. I wish we had Matt Gaetz. At least Matt Gaetz had the stones to go on a podcast and say that he was blackmailed by a foreign government and almost extorted by Israel and Mossad. Like, he's not afraid to speak the truth. We need more. We are demanding more at this point. And this story isn't going to go away. It's not. Pam Bondi tried to say, we should be talking about the Dow. No, that actually is not even in your purview, ma'am. You have nothing to do with the economy, miss. You are the top law enforcement officer in the nation. So enforce the freaking law. I'm so frustrated with this. I really am. And I've been trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. I have. I've been trying to give the Trump administration the benefit of the doubt when they were going to release these emails and these files. It's like, okay, let's take our time. Let's be patient. There's a process to this. The wheels of justice turn slowly. But at what point is enough enough? I think I'm past that point. 615-737-9986. Are you also past that point? This is also to say, like, I don't think the president is implicated. But I don't think his administration is doing enough to bring these people to justice. I hope for the best with Pam Bondi, and I know you probably did too. But we are where we are today. And the person in charge today needs to do something about it yesterday. So where are we at? I got a lot to get to. There's a lot inside these. There's a lot of files from the hearing that I want to play for you guys. A lot of audio to get to. There's points where Bondi makes good points, where she goes back at Massey and she's like, "Dude, you weren't concerned about this under Biden," and I think that's a fair criticism. There's fair criticisms on both sides, but the truth matters and accountability matters more than the finger pointing. More than, well, what happened under Biden? Like, okay, great. We're here now, so what are we doing about it today? I'll get to some of this Bondi audio on the way. We'll take some of your phone calls. We'll read some of your messages, and let's have a conversation about it. Plus, you're getting, I don't know, maybe you'll be mad at me. It's like I'm listening to some of the audio, and even like Democrats are in there, like Ted Lieu. Like, I'm not a huge Ted Lieu fan. There's not a lot we agree on, but I'm listening to these questions during the hearing, and I'm like, nothing he said is a lie. Nothing he said is a lie. So are we going to just bash him because he's on the left? Thomas Massey, Rhino, got it. Not a huge fan. But I'm listening to his questions during the Bondi hearing, and I'm like, okay, nothing he said is a lie. Nothing he said is a lie. So we have to be honest with ourselves about where we are with the Epstein files, where this administration is with the Epstein files. And at a certain point, the cover-up that we've seen happening for years does become a Trump administration cover-up. And we got to ask why. 615-737-9986. A lot to get to. It's 9:22. This is Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Better Water LLC. Do you got weird smells coming off your water? You got stains when you're washing your clothes, plain old bad tasting water at the house or the office? This is something that you need to have a look. You need to call some people to test the water. Better Water will test your water for free. You could have some nasty stuff in there. We're talking sulfur, iron, chlorine, bacteria, even E. coli. You don't want that. You don't want to be bathing your kids in it. You don't want to be drinking that stuff. You don't want to be bathing in it. But Better Water can clean it all up for you. They'll come to your home. They'll test your water for free. If you have any of that nasty stuff in there, they offer a range of options: reverse osmosis, water softeners, specialized filters, UV lights. Better Water has you covered. They're a local company based out of Smyrna. They're already treating the water around town. You probably tasted their work at the local coffee shops, at the hospitals. And they'll fix what's going on in your tap today. Stop drinking the junk out of your tap. Call my friends at Better Water, 615-355-6063, 615-355-6063, or find them online, betterwater.com.
The immigration crackdown in Minnesota has come to an end. Also, a couple of Navy ships have collided. Those two stories coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. It's 9:28. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Pam Bondi, Tom Massey, heated exchange yesterday during this hearing. And I think Massey's in the right here. I do. I think the critique from Bondi about why there was no attention during the Merrick Garland reign is also a very, very fair critique. I do. But we're here now. We're here now. Listen to this exchange.
Did you ask Merrick Garland that the last 4 years? Did you talk about Epstein?
I am reclaiming my
the
time.
last
I'm glad
4
you're
years?
asking about Merrick Garland.
You don't get to reclaim
because
time
this
when
is
you don't-
bigger than
when you can't-
Watergate.
when I don't answer a question the
this
way you
goes
want.
over 4 administrations. You don't have to go back to Biden. Let's go back to Obama. Let's go back to George Bush. This cover-up spans decades, and you are responsible for this portion of it.
And that's
now,
where the
I want to know at what
transparent-
point did the FBI and the DOJ decide that Lex Wessner was not a co-conspirator? Because our Epstein Files Transparency Act requires you, please put it back on the screen, please, to release the internal decision about whether to prosecute him or not, and it's not in the files, and it's not in the files for any of these other men.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
May she answer?
And he's a hypocrite because he voted against the ban that we were talking about on deep fake AI porn. Only 2 people voted against it, and you were one of them, hypocrite.
There was a lot of deflection from Pam Bondi. Constant deflection from Pam Bondi. She wasn't answering any of the questions. Massey was absolutely right when he said this cover-up goes well beyond the Trump administration. You're just in charge of it now. He's right. This goes back to Obama. This goes back to Biden. This goes back to Bush. We know it goes back to Clinton. There's a lot of attorney generals that have been complicit in this. It's not just Pam Bondi. I mean, do you need the list? Let's talk about them. Merrick Garland, Bill Barr, Jeff Sessions, Loretta Lynch, Eric Holder. They all hold some blame. But it goes back to what we've always talked about. Is this a uniparty? Is it a uniparty? And are we just protecting these satanic pedos who are running the world? These are questions that we need to ask. And if Pam Bondi doesn't want to give up names and doesn't want to bring charges against these individuals when they are clearly implicated, then yeah, dude, you're part of the cover-up now. Congrats. It's a big club. We're not in it. I'll take some of your phone calls on the way. It's 9:31. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's now 9:31. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. There may be a problem on 40 westbound near Hermitage this morning. At least there had been a closure. It may still be there. It looks like traffic is either very backed up or that closure still exists, and it's not clear why that would be closed at this hour. In the news, the immigration crackdown in Minnesota is over now. Border Czar Tom Homan announcing that CBP and ICE officers on detail in Minneapolis are being sent back to their home stations or to other areas of the country where they're needed. So why now? Because Minnesota is now allowing ICE to arrest illegal aliens at the local jail cells.
Arresting a public safety threat and the safety and security of a jail is safer for the alien, it's safer for the officer, and safer for the community. I think we all can agree on that. It requires less resources for at-large operations. It just makes sense.
More than 4,000 arrests to date. 2 U.S. Navy vessels collided in the Caribbean. This happened during a refueling yesterday. The guided missile destroyer USS Truxtun and the fast combat support ship USNS Supply collided. 2 people suffered minor injuries. The Wall Street Journal says there's no clear cause of that collision yet. A Clarksville mother will spend the next 17 years in prison for the starving death of her disabled son. Cheyenne Dawn Maddox was convicted last year of reckless homicide and aggravated child neglect. Her son, Kadaris Maddox, was 13 and confined to a wheelchair. And a former Tennessee police officer charged now with statutory rape while on duty. 24-year-old Clayton Fox was an officer in the Tellico Plains Police Department when he allegedly had sexual contact with a minor. TBI says he also gave false information to investigators when questioned about the incident. That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Cover Nash. Shane Ring is the absolute best, and he can save you some money. He can get you health insurance today, even though the big guys want you to think that you got to wait for open enrollment. That's not the case. That is the biggest myth in health insurance. Cover Nash can get you covered right now. No waiting, no gimmicks. You missed open enrollment? No problem. You lost your job coverage? No problem. You're just sick of overpriced junk insurance? You're in the right place. Cover Nash partners with over 75 top-rated insurance companies, including brand new nationwide PPO options. We're talking deductibles as low as $250, flat $50 doctor visits, ACA-compliant plans with free preventative care. Not that you're excited about colonoscopies, but you can get one for free. It's better than paying for it. Let's be perfectly honest. Stop overpaying. Stop waiting. Stop thinking you're stuck. Go to covernash.com or call Shane Ring today. 615-465-0023. 615-465-0023. Covernash.com.
99.7 WTN.
You asked Merrick Garland that the last 4 years. Did you talk about Epstein?
I'm reclaiming
at all
my
the
time.
last
I'm
4
glad you're
years?
asking about Merrick Garland.
You don't get to reclaim
because
time
this
when
is
you don't-
bigger than
when you can't-
Watergate.
when I don't answer a question the
this
way you
goes
want.
over 4 administrations. You don't have to go back to Biden. Let's go back to Obama. Let's go back to George Bush. This cover-up spans decades, and you are responsible for this portion of it.
And that's
now,
where the
I want to know at what point did the FBI and the DOJ decide that Lex Wessner was not a co-conspirator? Because our Epstein Files Transparency Act requires you, please put it back on the screen, please, to release the internal decision about whether to prosecute him or not, and it's not in the files, and it's not in the files for any of these other men.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
May she answer?
And he's a hypocrite because he voted against the ban that we were talking about on deep fake AI porn. Only 2 people voted against it, and you were one of them, hypocrite.
That's Pam Bondi and Thomas Massey yesterday during a heated exchange at Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Listen, fair critiques on both sides. Why didn't you bring this up during Merrick Garland? Why'd you vote against the AI porn ban? Although Bondi is clearly deflecting. Massey is going for the throat. We can question Massey's motivations, but we have to understand Massey is in the right spot at this very moment. He is. Despite what his motivations might be, he has some facts on his side. This cover-up spans decades. We all know it. Pam Bondi's not the only attorney general to ever cover this thing up. Merrick Garland, Bill Barr, Jeff Sessions, Loretta Lynch, Eric Holder, they all bear some responsibility here. They're all bad. Every single one of them. Every single one of them is bad. None of them, not one of them, caught wind of Epstein. Not one of them knew. We're told often, and we hear it so often, we all knew about Epstein. I can always go back to the Cindy McCain clip. Cindy McCain, the husband of the late John McCain. I mean, the wife of the late John McCain. We all knew about Epstein. We all knew what he was doing, but we couldn't do anything. Why not? Why not? Nancy Mace on an interview with Piers Morgan last night. Oh, if you only knew the names, Piers. If you only knew the names. I'm willing to name some of them. Only some of them? Only some of them. Well, then congrats. You're a coward. You are. And everybody else who's not naming names, they're cowards. Maybe they have, maybe there's legitimate fears. Maybe they don't want to die. Maybe that's part of it. I would say nut up and just deal with it. You can't get in this business and be afraid of that. I'm sorry. And back to the attorney generals. Let's talk about it. Bill Barr and Jeff Sessions, trash as well. Donald Trump doesn't have a good track record with picking attorney generals. And I love my president. I don't think he's guilty. I don't think he's implicated. But the longer this goes on, the harder it is to defend the cover-up. Bill Barr and Jeff Sessions, neither of them decided to look into the WikiLeaks emails. Neither of them thought it was weird with John Podesta and the pizza emails and the handkerchief maps and all that. Nobody thought that was weird. Nobody ever looked into that officially. The only person that actually looked into that was Ben Swan when he was working at a local CBS affiliate, and he got taken off the air for it. The more this goes on, the more the conspiracy theorists, when it came to Pizzagate, are vindicated and proven to be just ahead of the curve. It's so infuriating. What are we doing? I don't care who it brings down. We need accountability. We do. It's just infuriating. 615-737-9096. I got a lot more Pam Bondi audio to get to, but I got a lot of people on the line that want to talk. Let's go to my friend Brian real quick. What's up, Brian? How are you?
Brother, I don't disagree with you much, but I disagree big time on this one. Who is Pam Bondi's boss?
That would be President Trump.
Okay, that's who's responsible, bro. And I'm a Trumper. I'm a MAGA. But you do it too. You criticize him when you take criticism from people who say you don't. That's a lie. You criticize him when it's due. And I appreciate that. Well, let's do it right here. Pam Bondi is stuck between a rock and a hard place. Her and now the others, I don't hold them any more responsible than their presidents, though, because they were scoundrels too. Now, I don't think she's a scoundrel. I think she's very smart. I think she cares enough to investigate this.
I completely disagree. I mean, she was like one of the top law enforcement officers in Florida while Epstein was doing his dirt. Like, I think she's as slimy as the day is long. And I also think but hold on. I think there's a point to be made that the president is not going to go through and redact 3 million files himself. The president doesn't have the bandwidth to review 3 million files himself. So he has to trust people he puts into power. And the people he puts into power are clearly holding information from him. At a certain point, the accountability does fall at his feet. But as we stand right now, I think Pam Bondi holds a ton more blame. Kash Patel holds a ton more blame than the president of the United States.
I don't think so. I've been a CEO and a president at some companies, and ultimately I'm responsible. If I hire incompetence or they don't do what I say, now I get it that you said she was in Florida and Epstein was doing all that and she should have done something then. But just a little while ago you said let's go forward, or Ding Dong Massey said that. He said, well, we're talking about today. You're responsible for what's going on today. She's not responsible. She's responsible for her duties, but politically, if she wants to keep the job, I believe I'm not saying she's perfect because she's not, but I think we've got the right people in the right seats on the bus, and whoever's driving the bus, which is President Trump, he needs to come clean because he's still, even though he's so-called lame duck.
We definitely disagree on Bondi. Because, I mean, she was caught on hidden camera. This is the Attorney General of the United States, caught on hidden camera by O'Keefe Media Group, talking about the thousands of files that they have. Right? She did the binder. She did the binders. I mean, that was an unforced error. She has been dropping the ball on this every step of the way. She should have been fired so long ago. Which I guess goes back to your point that it falls at the feet of President Trump.
I'm not defending her. I'm saying she could tell names if she's seen them, and she could release things on the slick if she wanted to, but she'd lose her job, and she may not want. Maybe she values that in the relationship with President Trump more than I believe. Over time, this stuff will come out. But look, she's right. They're hypocrites. Listen. Half the people in Congress, more than half, 90% of Congress and the Senate are the biggest hypocrites in the world. They didn't have the balls to do anything before you know who arrived. He's the one who clamps down. He should have been in office for 12 years instead of 8 he'll hopefully serve if he makes it. I hope he does. I'm praying for him. I appreciate you moving me to the front because I'm your friend, I wanted to disagree, and I appreciate it.
How do you think that things are going to come out in time if it's been how many 10 years plus of this, and we still have just as much information as we did back when Hillary was running against Trump?
I get it, bro, but let me tell you, and you know this better than me. You know that there's royalty in Saudi Arabia probably in this. There's probably some in maybe Israel. I think people have speculated about that.
Mossad, yep. And there's guys from Dubai.
Listen, we know when we elect these people, they're all crooked. Nobody goes to Congress and comes out poor. Why? You say it all the time. I listen to you almost every day. I didn't get to listen to you yesterday. But, dude, you're on top of it. But I think you're misplaced, and I just do. I think Pam Bondi's a good attorney general. I think she's a good woman at heart. And ultimately, as Christian me and you, I think that's what matters. Even though I want to see, too, I want people to go to jail. I want them to go feet first.
Man, but I've been giving Pam Bondi the benefit of the doubt. When they announced her as the new pick after they dropped Matt Gaetz, which I thought was trash, I was very skeptical of her. And she has not done. She's done little things right. I'll give you that. She's arrested your local your local child porn peddler, and that's great. And I'm not discounting that. But this is the show, man. This is the big deal. We need her to do the big things right. And until she does, like anybody, any attorney general can go do the little things right and get the street level guys. We need to go up the ladder, and she's refusing to do that, and she's sitting on all these documents.
I dare you to defy your owner. I dare you to get on the radio and say things that they wouldn't appreciate. Can you? Do you have that contract that you can do that?
I've actually never been told not to say anything by Cumulus Media. I've never been said. I've never had a conversation where like, Chris, you went too far on that. Chris, you crossed the line here. That's never happened to me. And I have some pretty radical stances. You've heard my takes on vaccines, I'm sure, and I speak out as much as I can, and I do so. But I try to be as measured as I can. I understand that there's a responsibility that comes with having a show here on Super Talk, and I shouldn't fly off at the handle on every conspiracy theory that old Chris 10 years ago without a radio show who's just going off on the internet might have. Like there's a balance there, but to cover for Pam Bondi at this point, I think is just a massive L. It is so bad.
Brother, I disagree. I think she's hamstrung. I really do. I think she's hamstrung by more than President Trump. Maybe J.D. Vance. I don't know. I just know.
It's funny you bring up J.D. Vance. Because I have long said that I will support J.D. Vance unless something catastrophic happens in this administration. And I think we're getting to the point where this is that catastrophic thing. This is that moment in time where it's like, okay, where are you at on this? Because if the cover-up is going to continue, I don't know if I can just throw my hat in the ring and support a J.D. Vance. If you're saying, the cover-up goes to President Trump's feet, well, then it's also right there at J.D. Vance's feet. And if we're going to get a continuation of this kind of politics, I don't know if I'm going to be able to support a J.D. Vance. Unless we see the arrests and the accountability that the American public demands, I don't think that he's going to walk in there and just take it.
And I appreciate that about you, that you would be willing to support somebody until you can't. You said that over and over and over. And I'm the same way. I'll throw Donald J. Trump to hell and back if I find out, or if for factual, we know that he was participant or he's protecting somebody that doesn't deserve. Nobody deserves to be protected. I don't even know why my mind was fixing to say that. I'm thinking, who deserves to be protected in this crap?
Nobody.
Let's go before a firing squad. Bring that back.
I'm with you. Hey, I appreciate the call, Brian. 615-737-9986. We'll take more of your phone calls on the way. I got more from this Pam Bondi hearing. There's a lot to talk about. Plus, we will stop down at 10:35. My friend Bernadette Pager. It is Maha Day coming up with the Tennessee legislature. So we'll take a step back from the national scene and we'll dive into locally what we're doing for the Maha policies here. At the end of the day, there is still a lot of good things happening in the Trump administration. So we'll pause. We'll talk about the Maha stuff. We'll take more of your phone calls on the way as well. I got more audio from Pam Bondi. I was shocked yesterday. I'll be honest with you. Stunned by how flat-footed she was caught. And she was a mess. She was an absolute mess. When I'm sitting there and I'm agreeing with a Democrat like Ted Lieu, like that's an issue. That is a massive issue. And the Trump administration is holding an L right now. Pam Bondi is holding an L right now. Hang on the line, Dave, Missy. We'll take your calls next. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. February's here. Valentine's Day is in a couple days. And if you grab yourself a Beehive Club membership, it's the best value in home heating and cooling. You'll be automatically entered to win their Valentine's Sweetheart Deal giveaway. One winner is going to get a relaxing couples massage and a spa package from Third Coast Salt, plus a $100 Visa gift card for a legit dinner date. This is a fantastic deal. You'll get it just by grabbing a Beehive Club membership today or tomorrow. They're going to announce the winner on Facebook Live on Friday, so keep an eye out for that. Make sure you like Busy Bee on Facebook. And while we're at it, they got a lot of great savings for you, like 40% off a whole home surge protector, $500 off select home water reed pipes, and the one everybody knows, the 93 are free mainline clog deal. If they can't clear it, you don't pay for it. It's that simple. Don't wait. Give Busy Bee a call today, 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833, busybeehvac.com.
A local school district closes down for a few days. Too much flu. Also, home sales bottomed out last month. That and more coming up at 10 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Taking your phone calls at 615-737-9986. Dave is in the borough. What's up, Dave? Our favorite Hebrew. What's up, Dave?
What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good. A little fired up. What are you thinking?
I'm with you. You know, my dad was a Navy guy, and there's an old naval saying from a quote from the Civil War, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. And that's what needs to happen in this case.
I had a text from another military guy that said, 1,000 attaboys is great, but it doesn't trump one OS. It's like, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Exactly. And I've been a Sean Ryan fan for a long time, and he's had a hold of this. He hasn't let this go for a while, and I tend to agree with both you and him. They ran on this. This was a major thing that they ran on, and for them to come up short and crap the bed on this, they're losing a lot more support than they think they are.
Yeah.
Yes, there's other things that people are concerned about. People are concerned about affordability and yada, yada, yada. But this is a key thing they ran on.
Yep.
And they're pissing a lot of people off.
And it's not like they just ran on it in They didn't just run on it in 2024. They ran on it in 2020. Yep. They ran on it in 2016. Like we need some accountability, and people will rightfully point out, and I've gotten a few of these texts. It's like, oh, but it's Massey. What's Massey's motivation? And I was like, okay, fair enough. Maybe Massey has an axe to grind. Now let's do the exact same question with Lauren Boebert, Nancy Mace, Tim Burchett. All of these guys who want accountability, because they all do. So are they all vile anti-Trumpers? It can't be both at once.
Look at what happened to Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, she was literally persona non grata out of Congress, and there was nobody more MAGA than she was.
But Marjorie Taylor Greene took her ball and ran home. Like she's another one of those people. Like I played the Nancy Mace clip, and I don't know if you heard it, but she's on Piers Morgan, and she's like, I know the names, and you'd be stunned, and I'm willing to name some of them, and it's like only some of them. Like just get out on the floor, say what you need to say. And let the chips fall where they may. Marjorie Taylor Greene, same thing. Like I'm grateful that you're pushing for accountability, but like all of these people know all of the names, and they're too scared.
I'm wondering if they're worried that they're going to end up Vince Fostered.
Yeah, swimming with the fishes. I'm feeling you, but this is what you sign up for, right? This is and we need somebody who's strong and not afraid of that, to go out there and do what needs to be done, or leak it. Like that's the other thing that just it is so frustrating.
DC is a sieve. They can't keep anything secret. You mean to tell me that somebody can't leak any of this?
There are good organizations to do it with. I go back to O'Keefe Media Group. You think that they wouldn't get enough attention if they had some leaked documents, and that we could get some heads to roll? But they're sitting on their hands. I bet you even Fox would run. I bet you even Fox would run with it. Yes, all of them would. All of them would. I leak it. It's like crap or get off the pot, But all of these. No,
I thoroughly agree.
It's infuriating. Dave, I appreciate the call. We're up against it. It's 10:01. Likewise, sir. 10:01 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, 10:01. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Got a problem on 24 this morning. There is a crash in the median in Christiana. It's between Epps Mill Road and Joby Jackson. There's a big delay in that spot. Then further up 24 westbound at Hickory Hollow Parkway, there's a crash. It's partially out into the right lane, and traffic having to get around that's causing a big delay this morning as well. And then watch it on 40 westbound at Donaldson Pike. There was an earlier closure of of some of the lanes. Now just the right lane is blocked off at Donaldson Pike on 40 westbound at this point this morning. In the news this morning at 10 o'clock, flu activity is at a high in Tennessee, and there's a lot of flu cases in Coffee County. Now, the schools there say they'll be closed today and tomorrow. That allows students and staff to rest, recover, and reduce the spread of illness. On the heels of a jobs report that showed 130,000 new positions created last month, the Labor Department's out with its weekly outlook on unemployment filings.
5,000 fewer out-of-work Americans applied for state jobless benefits in the week ending February 7th for 227,000 altogether. Economists and Wall Street are more interested in the less volatile 4-week moving average. It rose last week by 7,000, indicating an increase in layoff activity.
That's ABC's Jim Ryan there. There's another economic data point out today, and it's housing sales. They dropped 8.4% in January. The chief economist for the National Association of Realtors saying that it is a new housing crisis. That revelation highlighting President Trump's effort to get interest rates lower to spur home sales. We know more now about the shooter who killed 10 people in British Columbia, Canada. Premier David Eby.
8 of the people who died as a result of the shootings were at the school, including an individual we understand is the suspected shooter who is believed to have died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Well, that shooter also killed his mother and 11-year-old stepbrother. Now, despite media outlets referring to that shooter as a woman, it's known now that 18-year-old Jesse Van Rootselaar was born a male but identified as a woman and began transitioning 6 years ago. He also had a history of police visits to his home amid concerns for his mental health over the years. And the death of actor James Van Der Beek from colorectal cancer is raising awareness and questions about the disease.
Colorectal cancer affects the lower intestine and is the second most common cancer in both men and women. About 160,000 people are expected to be diagnosed this year, with more than 55,000 annual deaths. One major concern: more people under 50 are being diagnosed. Belly pain and fatigue are symptoms, as well as a change in bowel habits, blood in your stool, and weight loss.
James Van Der Beek was 48. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
As a matter of fact, I have been permitted to choose and discuss my own ideas.
This is the Chris Hand Show. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
But you would be shocked, Pierce, that some of the names that I have seen that came across the DOJ in emails that the DOJ is protecting. And we're talking about people on both sides of the aisle. We're talking about famous people, rich people, people in power, prime ministers, former presidents, et cetera, media personalities that are named in these files. And that's why I say this is going to go down as the greatest cover-up, one of the greatest cover-ups in American history. And I don't believe the girls are actually going to see justice, which is why it's going to be incumbent upon people like Democrat Ro Khanna, Republican Thomas Massey. I'm a Republican myself who's willing to name some of those names in our committee work, on the floor of the House, whatever it takes, because this kind of thing cannot continue to go on.
Yeah, that's Nancy Mace. Interview with Pierce Morgan at Super Talk 99.7 WTN. She says this stuff can't continue to go on. We need to name names. I'll name some of them. Some of them. At a certain point, you, Nancy Mace, if you know the names, then you are complicit in the cover-up. Can we all agree on that? If you know the names and you're not telling anybody, you're part of the problem. You are. People will say, well, Thomas Massey has an axe to grind with President Trump. Maybe that's true. Does Nancy Mace? Does Lauren Boebert? I mean, these are questions that we have to ask. And is she now complicit in the cover-up? Because she won't say the names. I would say yes. 615-737-9986. I got a text here, and so 5829 said, dude, if they name names, they'll be dead. Yeah, I understand that's probably the risk you're taking. My response to that is there are things far worse than death. So this is the job you signed up for. This is the risk you were taking. So that's where we're at. 615-737-9986. Yesterday, she was asked by Ted Lieu why she's shutting down criminal investigations into Prince Andrew. And this is a fair question. This is a Democrat, Ted Lieu, and he posts a picture in the hearing, and you've probably seen this picture going around. It's Prince Andrew just creepily, eerily laying over what looks to be, I don't know, an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old. How old would you think that individual is? 8 or 9? And I'm sitting there listening to this hearing, and I'm like, I'm agreeing with Ted Lieu. Nothing he's saying here. If you didn't know Ted Lieu was a Democrat and you didn't know he was a Republican, you wouldn't be able to tell. Because there's no spin here. There's just facts.
The July 2025 memo from your Department of Justice stated, quote, we did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. These two photos, please put the photos back up. These two photos staring you in the face are evidence of a crime and more than enough evidence to predicate an investigation against former Prince Andrew. So I ask you, Attorney General Pam Bondi, why did you shut down this investigation last July, and why have you not prosecuted former Prince Andrew?
I don't believe you asked Merrick Garland these questions when he was Attorney General and set before.
I agree with you.
You twice.
I'm reclaiming my time. I agree with you. I agree with you. During the Biden administration, I called for people looking at Epstein files. Merrick Garland dropped the ball, as did Attorney General Bill Barr, as did Alex Acosta, a whole string of failures. But you are in charge. You have the power to change things, to hold these men accountable, and you're doing the opposite. You're protecting them.
Again, Ted Lieu, a Democrat, what did he say that was wrong? She tries to deflect and say, well, what about Merrick Garland? It's like Merrick Garland isn't walking through that door, folks. Merrick Garland is gone. He's not coming back. It's now your job. It's now Pam Bondi's job. So what are you doing? Well, why didn't you ask Merrick Garland? I agree. Merrick Garland dropped the ball. Why'd you shut down the investigation? Why haven't you brought up charges against Prince Andrew? We all know. And if you're not going to do it, you're covering up. You were complicit. Jay on the road. Welcome to the show, man. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. What's up?
My opinion is that I think Pam's doing a great job. What she's got to offer is what we need. She needs to get back to her desk and continue doing her job. And all the rhetoric, that's just Pam hating. We hate Pam. It's ridiculous. Get back to your desk, do your job.
How would you classify this as a good job when there are co-conspirators in the files that her DOJ is redacting? How would you classify it a good job when Prince Andrew is clearly implicated? We've seen that nonstop. I mean, they stripped him of royalty because of it, and there are no charges or investigations being filed. How on earth is that being classified as a good job?
Well, I'm going to look at the people that surround her, both good and bad. I'm going to look at the people that she has as alliances with and the people that are her enemies. And I'm going to look at the give and take there, and I'm going to say whatever comes out from that is what needed to come out. If you didn't have good enough alliances, then she needs to get better friends. But it's not on her. Thank you.
I completely disagree with that take, Jay. She's the top cop in the United States of America. The buck stops with her, and then the buck stops with President Trump. She's a trash attorney general. Everybody knows it. I wanted her to do good. I was hopeful. I was giving her the benefit of the doubt. I tried. We're past that point. We are way past that point. She's done some little things right. Listen, man, she's got some street level child predators off the streets, and I'm grateful for that. I'm not discounting the work that she's put in, but this is the big one, and she's failing miserably. Gary in Springfield, you're up next on Super Talk. What's up, Gary?
Hey, real quick, I've got just several line up against her in the administration, and I'm MAGA, okay?
Yeah, I know.
Retired military officer. Okay. One, support and defend the Constitution of the United States. I knew it implied that I might be dead. That's what comes with it.
Yep.
She did the same thing. Political officials in office, it implies you might end up being dead. So, that aside. Also, she was Attorney General when Epstein got the sweetheart deal in Florida the first time.
Bingo.
What happened there?
It's a good
Thirdly,
question.
Yes, absolutely. Thirdly, do your job. That Prince Andrew, that girl, I think, is 13 years old. He was over the top of.
It's disgusting.
That's plausible cause for that's a pedophile. Now, fourthly, you unredact every single name. Somebody somewhere can leak all those names. Leak them all. If it's 1,000, I don't care what world leader, Republican, Democrat, whoever they are, leak all the names and let it fly.
Amen. I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. I'm with you 100% on that.
Because we cannot have, I mean, if we could have a French Revolution to clean it up, but we can't have call ourselves a moral country, two-tier justice system, and this kind of incredible crime against children go unaccounted for.
I'm with you. And then the implications with the blackmail. Like, how many things happened as a direct result of this? Like, we don't just need people to be found guilty. We need to know the extent and the scope of it. Because it wasn't just that all of these individuals wanted to have sex with minors. Like, that's not the case. Some of them, it was like, oh, gee whiz, it'd be a shame if your wife found out about that. It'd be a shame if somebody knew that girl was actually 17. I need you to vote this way. Like, we need to know all of it. We need to know the full scope.
Right. I'll give you an example of what real courage is. When I was stationed in Germany many years ago as a lieutenant, There was a Army major who was in Moscow with the consulate. The Russians are really good at this. They will get a blonde babe, whatever, gorgeous Russian woman, compromise the soldier, and they're in bed, and you know what? And the KGB comes rushing in, takes all the pictures, and they tell them the game is, you work for us now.
Yep.
The next day, he's back in the consulate, and he reports himself to the military attaché in charge and says, they got me. He ends up divorced, has 3 kids. But he did the right thing, lost his family, and went back to the States.
Yep. I mean, that's what you got to do.
That's the price if that's the price you got to pay for your country, that's the price you pay.
Amen,
and
Gary.
If you get dirt napped, if you get dirt napped, you get dirt napped.
So, I mean, that's what you signed up for, right? And I appreciate the call, Gary, and I appreciate your insight. Let's go to Brad on the road. What's up, Brad?
Hey, how's it going, man? How you doing?
Good. How are you? What's up?
Pretty good. I just had something quick to add in there. My brain was just thinking. So there's a whole lot of blackmail involved in this, the Epstein files and this whole case overall. Something don't seem right. I wonder who's got what on Pam Bondi. Maybe something's got something over her, and that's why she's not talking.
I mean, that very well could be the case. You know, she like our caller before, Gary, pointed out. You know, she was in charge in Florida while Epstein was running around doing everything he was doing. That very well could be the case. But that's
all I got, brother.
All the more
Thank you.
all the more reason why she needs to go. Tristan on the road. What's up? You're next on Super Talk.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I just kind of wanted to give you my opinion on it. I don't know. I think the whole I think everybody's corrupt, honestly. That's just my opinion. I think it's true that, like, all pretty much attorney generals, like, before her and herself, they are all corrupt. I mean, I've seen her do corrupt things in other cases, I mean, besides the Epstein thing, but I won't get too far into that. But, yeah, I definitely agree with you. So just wanted to add something quick to that.
Good. All right. Is that all you're adding, or you got something else?
Yeah, that's just pretty much it. Just wanted to share my opinion.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, and I agree on past attorney generals. We mentioned it earlier. Like, nobody thought it was interesting to look into the WikiLeaks files. Nobody thought the Podestas were a little weird, and maybe they should do some investigating on the emails that Julian Assange put out, which were never proven to be inauthentic. They were verified. I think WikiLeaks has a 0% redaction rate. Nobody ever thought to look into the pizza-related maps and the handkerchiefs that were left behind and all of the weird stuff. No, nobody did. It wasn't a big deal. Let's go to Brenda in Knoxville. What's up, Brenda?
Well, I was just wondering if it could be a jurisdiction problem. I mean, do we have the authority to arrest some member of the royal family in England? And also, I was thinking there was, people, men all over the world were involved there. So if some of them were a head of state and we can't arrest them or do anything about it, and they bring their names, if they bring their names out, that could cause some sort of, incident. And what for? I mean, if we can't do anything with it, I mean,
well, what for would be justice and accountability, and the what for would be for the victims. And then as far as not having the jurisdiction, I would remind you, we just flew into Venezuela in the middle of the night to get a president of their country because he was indicted on U.S. charges. Now I'm not saying
he wasn't a legitimate president of Venezuela.
Well,
they know.
and as of right now, Andrew isn't a legitimate royal. But I don't think we're going to go fly in the dead of night to England to arrest their politicians.
No, I know that.
But that doesn't mean that you can't indict them on charges and say that they need to stand trial in America. I don't think we would force an ally to extradite them, but I think that we could absolutely bring up the charges.
But it just seems to me, that would make everybody feel good. But if it brought up some sort of international incident that hurt, start a war or something, who knows? I just think that there's a reason. Maybe
so that would be worth. So that's worth protecting the the pedophiles and the blackmailers?
Of course not.
Well, then what are we talking about?
Well, we're just saying you have to sometimes, it's not all black and white. You can't just always want to have it so that these people are held accountable, which would be great if they were. But, it's not how the world works. Lots of people are not held accountable. Look what they've done to Trump. They're never going to be held accountable for Crossfire Hurricane or any of the rest of it. And it's all proven that they lied and tried to take out a sitting president. But we don't see anything happening there. So, the world.
We're here now. And the Attorney General of the United States is redacting names of co-conspirators.
I just see it as you have to weigh issues, and sometimes if it's going to make things worse, I mean, it would be great to bring these people to justice.
But by that logic, you're like, it's better to continue being ruled by pedophiles who have been blackmailed than it is to bring them to bring them to justice.
Do you know what
I'm saying? Like, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth.
I know what you're saying, but this is going on even today that we don't know about.
100%. I guarantee you there's another 10 Epsteins out there. I wouldn't be shocked if Diddy was another Epstein. I wouldn't be shocked if Hugh Hefner had been an original Epstein. I mean, I think this is far reaching, and it goes back a lot longer than anybody knows, but this is where we start.
Well, they can start by holding the ones in this country that perpetrated this, the Clintons and whoever else was involved in this.
But that's and I'm with you, but that's the issue. There are co-conspirators that are in this country that aren't being held accountable.
No, I know that's a problem. That's a big problem. I just see it as you can't always get what you want, and I wish we could. I wish every bad person walking the earth that's raped a child could be strung up by their neck. That's what I would like to see, because I can't imagine any more trauma than doing that with a child. And, it would be good to see this prince over in England get his just desserts.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying there might be complications and repercussions from all of it. Is just my point.
Yeah, no, I get where you're at, and I understand why you would want a measured response. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Let the chips fall where they may. It's 10:25. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Chris Hand here for my friends at the Glock Store. Power's back on at the Glock Store, and they are rocking. They lost power like much of Nashville did, but they're back, and the Shoot 270 indoor ranges are up and running. The retail showroom is open for business, and they got some great deals during the Great Ice Storm of 2026 sale. We're talking Glock GTL2 weapon lights for less than $155, 43X magazines for under $19, the Savior Specialist range bags, and the limited Desert Night and Tiger Stripe camo. They're in stock and on sale. Plus, you can get the brand new M1X Coyote frames, also in stock, ready for immediate pickup. Don't forget, you can still pre-order that brand new Gen 6 Glock. And when you mention my name, Chris Hand, you get an extra free magazine when you pick it up. My guys at the Glock Store are saving you so much money, all powered up, ready for business, minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, always open online, glockstore.com.
Coming up here at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, Operation Metro Surge in Minnesota is over, and a lot of kids have been rescued. Coming up here at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. It is 10:29 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. On the way, we're gonna stop down. We're gonna pivot a little bit away from the Epstein talk. I feel like we could keep doing the Epstein all day and talk in circles, but it feels like nobody wants to hold anybody accountable. So all we're doing is talking in circles. We want to talk to Bernadette Pager, friend of the show. She is going to talk about Maha Day on the Hill. That's coming on Tuesday, February 17th. In Nashville. They want to really make America healthy again and let our legislators know that we're not having it with the crap any longer. So we'll talk to Bernadette when we get back. We'll take more of your phone calls after that. We got a lot more to talk about. SAVE Act updates as well. A lot of stuff. Busy show. 10:30 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Border Czar Tom Homan announcing that the federal immigration enforcement surge in Minnesota is now over. There have been more than 4,000 arrests of criminal illegal immigrants, and now he's posting a limited number of agents in specific areas where they're now allowed to pick up those arrested from the jail, and they're no longer being released into the public. Homan also says ICE has located thousands of missing migrant children in Minneapolis.
In addition to taking public safety threats off the street, ICE here in this state have located 3,364 missing unaccompanied alien children. Children that the last administration lost and weren't even looking for. That's because the leadership of President Trump, these children were located.
He also debunked a Democrat claim that ICE agents have made arrests inside a hospital. Sumner County is considering options to move residents off of Nashville Electric Service and into a different power company. Matt Schoaf is a Sumner County commissioner. He spoke to WSMV4.
These folks here are the customers, but none of their representatives have any direct authority over NES or Nashville. Those of us who are serviced by NES and who don't happen to live in Davidson County, we want something to change.
NES is governed by a 5-member board appointed, of course, by the mayor of Nashville. And Just In Steak and Shake says it's removing all microwaves from its restaurants, saying it's part of a journey to improve food quality. That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
It's 1036, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. You can find me on every social media platform that matters, at Chris Hand on air. It's the same across all platforms. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. Do appreciate you guys calling into the show, being a part of the show on the phone lines and the text line, 615-737-9986. Also in the YouTube chat, I see it, and I appreciate you guys engaging and just reacting in real time with us as we go down the road of conversation. I do want to pivot. Maha Day on the Hill is on the way. And our friend Bernadette Pager, the Tennessee director for Stand for Health Freedom, is on the line. She's going to be down there on Tuesday, February 17th. Tell me about Maha Day on the Hill, Bernadette. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Chris. It's going to be a great day. It is Tuesday, February 17th, beginning at 9 a.m., and it's brought to everybody by the Maha Tennessee State Council. This is a completely volunteer council that is trying to, let everybody know about the Maha issues and some great legislation that's running here in the state of Tennessee. So I want your listeners to know, in order to get all the full details, they should go to mahainstitute.us/TN.
maha.institute/US/TN.
Yeah, I think you added an extra dot.
mahainstitute.us/TN. What are the big focuses for the Maha movement in Tennessee? It seems like this state is a little bit ahead of the curve when it comes to the country. Am I wrong in thinking that, or is that the reality?
Well, I wish that was the reality. Unfortunately, industry lobbyists are really influential here in Tennessee, and so we've got some great bills, but they're being lobbied. So a couple of the great bills that really need the support of citizens are some fluoride ban bill.
Yes. And why do we need to ban fluoride from the water supply?
Oh, my goodness. There's mountains of science showing how dangerous it is to fluoridate the water supply. The fluoride being put in water is not the calcium fluoride that nature puts in water. This is a whole different chemical type of fluoride that's a waste product of the fertilizer industry. It's so toxic to human health. I don't have all the details in front of me, but we really, 95% of the world does not fluoridate the water. So what does that tell you?
Yep.
What are we doing here?
Tells you everything you need to know. And then the drop in IQ that we see, and then you look at the education of our kids, and you wonder if that plays a role in it. What are the other big focuses for Maha in Tennessee?
Well, expanding the food dye ban for school lunches, food supply, they're going to expand the list to all of the artificial dyes. So that's a good one. There are several bills dealing with the problems of prescription psychotropic drugs. So these are dealing with getting better data, mandatory written informed consent before somebody is put on these drugs, because, they come with black box warnings of increased risk of suicidal, homicidal ideation, stunted growth, psychosis, just so many alarming things that people are really not aware of before they or their children are put on these drugs. I tell you, in Tennessee, it's outrageous. 1 out of 3 foster children is on a psychotropic drug.
That seems insane. Is that comparable to the amount of people in the nation on these kind of drugs?
It's on the high end. Tennessee is one of the worst. And the figures that we have were obtained through public records request by CCHR, Citizens Commission on Human Rights, in Tennessee, and it's just the people on TennCare. So these figures don't even include individuals on private.
Well, but I've seen Bernadette. I've seen the commercials for these drugs, and everybody's always dancing in a good mood. So they can't be that bad.
Yeah, but the small print that you actually can't read because it's so small is some of the dangers that they are required to tell you. But the doctors don't fully inform. But if this bill passes,
and several others, we're going to get better information. And there's also going to be mandatory reporting by physicians who prescribe these drugs of serious adverse events to the federal reporting system called MedWatch. So, right now it's severely underreported because it's voluntary. And really, if it's like the 5th time that year that you've had to file a report to MedWatch that somebody tried to kill themselves on a prescription drug, maybe you'll slow down your prescriptions a little bit. And pay a little bit more attention.
You probably have a good chunk of those doctors going, well, we got to up the dosage. It can't be the medicine. It's got to be a lack of the medicine.
Yeah, but, even mainstream now, the dirt is out on how bad these psychotropic drugs are and how a lot of the basis for their use has been found out to be completely false. Studies written and published by the pharmaceutical industry itself, who stood to profit, often comes up with the guidelines of when to prescribe them. So, yeah, that's being blown away. Then there's also a bill still being amendment to get the language just right drafted, but in order to ban mRNA vaccines. So,
what are the odds that actually happens?
I'm not going to guess at that, but it does seem like everybody you talk to knows somebody who was hurt or killed by them. And even here at the General Assembly, again, it's the lobbyists that likely are fighting back. There's a whole lot of hospital and medical lobbyists here every single day.
When it comes to like the mRNA jabs and things of that nature, do you feel like the HHS under the direction of Secretary Kennedy is moving in the right direction, doing enough? Do they need to do more? Where are they excelling and where do they need to step up?
Well, the way I always put it is they're operating in the belly of the beast. It is very difficult to really do rapid changes. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. wants to do gold standard science. And so when changes happen, he wants it backed by solid science. So someday when somebody else has his job or somebody else is in the White House, that these policies don't get reversed. So it seems agonizingly slow, but, it's intentional. But he needs everybody, working MAHA-wise in the federal administration. They need us to have their back. They need us to continue to pressure, not yell at them in an ugly way, but pressure to say we want these vaccines pulled. We want some of these pesticides pulled off the market. There's a lot of things that we need to continue to build that public support so that we can get all of this really solid done at the federal level and also the state level.
Yeah, and it kind of starts here at the local level. I mean, that's how you get that groundswell of support, which is why we're talking about Maha Day on the Hill, Tuesday, February 17th at 9 a.m., Cordell Hull Building. You're going to be there. What are some other initiatives that are being pushed with the Maha agenda in Tennessee exclusively?
Well, there's a good one to ban cell-cultured fake meats. So there's no long-term study that shows the impact of these foods on human health.
Tell me, what are cell-cultured fake meats?
Well, I'm going to give you a general of how I understand it. I haven't gone all the way down the rabbit hole on this, but they basically take animal cells, live animal cells that they extract from chickens, cows, whatever, and they culture them in a lab. So they're growing kind of Frankenmeat. And they use often, say, the serum. I was reading yesterday about how they get these things to grow. They'll use the serum of the fetus of a pregnant cow or chicken or something. I guess it would be the chicken. I don't know how they get it out of it, like the ovaries of a chicken. I don't understand the biology of it. But basically something has to die to get it extracted.
That is disgusting.
And you get, the different cells, and then they have to look for the cell lines that are like immortal cells that just keep growing and growing. And so some of the long-term concerns of eating this stuff is cells that tend to divide and keep dividing and keep dividing have a tendency to be carcinogenic. And we just don't know. There's no long-term study, so we should not be.
No, it feels like a Klaus Schwab eat the bugs would be a better option than the cell cultured meats.
Well, yeah. I mean, some cultures have been eating bugs for a long time. I don't want to eat bugs, but we know what happens when you eat real food.
Yeah, given the choice, sign me up for a cricket.
Yeah.
And are you getting pushback on the ban on this?
Well, I heard yesterday that the Tennessee Farm Bureau is opposed to the bill, which makes no sense to me. Why aren't you protecting your ranchers and your farmers?
It's insane.
Yeah, it is. And there's another really good bill to ban pesticide drone sprays near homes and gardens.
Okay, why do we need to ban pesticide drone sprays? Break it down.
Do I have to break it down? The danger of these little things flying over your children in the yard or, getting out of control. I guess. I just don't trust drones or automatic delivery drones or self-driving cars. Somebody will be hurt by these things. We don't need drone spraying poison.
Is the opposition more to the drone, or is it to the delivery method, or is it to what it's delivering?
I think it's to what it's delivering. However, I mean, I'm not sure we're quite ready for the Georgia Jetson age of everything zipping around, flying around. When you watch the Jetsons when we were kids, you didn't see drones colliding and killing people. I mean, they didn't show the reality of what it would be like to have things hovering and flying all over the place. So.
We're talking with Bernadette Pager. She is the Tennessee Director for Stand for Health Freedom. We're talking about Maha Day on the Hill, Tuesday, February 17th, 9 a.m. How do people get involved with you, Bernadette, and what you guys are doing?
Start by signing up here at the mahainstitute.us/TN to get information. So, and also sign up for standforhealthfreedom.com. I'm the volunteer Tennessee director there, and I try to keep people notified of bills they need to take action on. During session and out of session, encourage people to meet with their legislators. Oh, that's the other thing. I need to tell your listeners, after they get signed up, they'll get reminded of this, but please get on the phone today or send an email to your legislator, your rep, and your senator, and see if you can set a meeting for February 17th while you're here. Be great time to see them. If they're already too full and can't get you in, at least stop by their office and say, I'm a constituent and I want you to vote Maha.
Yeah. Hey, good advice. Bernadette Pager, thank you for taking the time to talk to us. I do appreciate what you're doing, and we all do. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris.
Hey, have a good one. That's Bernadette Pager, Tennessee Director for Stand for Health Freedom. She said mahainstitute.us/TN if you want to get involved. That Maha Day on the Hill is happening on Tuesday, February 17th, 9 a.m. That is definitely a day of action. If you can take the day off, if you got the day off, be at the Cordell Hell Building, 9 a.m. We look forward to seeing the fruit from that Maha Day on the Hill. We got a lot more on the way. We will talk about the SAVE Act. We'll take some more of your phone calls on anything you want to talk about. If you guys want to dive back into the Epstein stuff, we absolutely can. 615-737-9986. It's 1050. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Music City Loop takes another step forward, and damaging emails revealed in a social media trial. All that and more coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I hate to do this.
I know. I knew it the minute I said it.
Between 9 and noon. It's not the Music City Loop.
I forgot.
It's the BNA hole. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name's Chris Hand. Don't worry, Ken will get it eventually.
One of these days.
One of these days. He just does the news.
I knew it the minute it came. I went, oh. Like in my head. I was going, oh.
You got it. You got to edit that. You got to edit that for the next newscast. I'm just letting you know. Donald Trump on True Social about 50 minutes ago. A listener sent this to me. Shout out to 4559. Appreciate it. This is his take on the events of yesterday with Pam Bondi. Are you ready for President Trump's take? Can I preface this with it was a facepalm?
Yeah, I'm not happy with this one.
AG Pam Bondi, under intense fire from the Trump-deranged radical left lunatics, was fantastic at yesterday's hearing on the never-ending saga of Jeffrey Epstein, where the one thing that has been proven conclusively, much to their chagrin, was that President Donald J. Trump has been 100% exonerated of their ridiculous Russia type charges. Actually, it is the slimeball Democrats, many of them big donors and politicians, that have been proven guilty. So name them. And if they've been proven guilty, put them in handcuffs. He goes on. Republican loser, sanctimonious rhino Congressman Thomas Massey made a total fool of himself yesterday, fighting aimlessly against a hopeless agenda of hate and stupidity, as most clearly stated by his crashing job approval numbers in the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, where a military hero opponent, Ed Galreen, is crushing him in the polls. He is now wacky Liz Cheney. He's now in wacky Liz Cheney territory. Nobody cared about Epstein when he was alive. They only cared about him when they thought he could create political harm to our very popular president, who has brought our country back from the brink of extinction, and very quickly at that. In fact, this attempt by the Democrats to take away attention from the tremendous Republican success is backfiring badly. Maybe they should focus on their quest to open our borders to the world's greatest criminals, have transgender for everybody, or get men, no matter their size or strength, to play in women's sports. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. That is a tone-deaf statement. That is a tone-deaf statement from President Trump. And I want to support President Trump. But, dude, what are you doing? Actually, it was the Democrats that were proven guilty. Perfect. Arrest them and charge them. All of them. But we haven't done that. So if they've been proven guilty and they're not being charged, then are you covering it up? To say Pam Bondi did good yesterday is trash. She did not do good. She has not been a good attorney general. Like, what are we doing? This is like, me and Mace were talking off the air. Mason's like, it's like doubling down. I'm like, dude, this is like a quadruple down. And I've been giving him the benefit of the doubt. I understand President Trump can't go through and redact 3 million files on his own. He can't review 3 million files on his own. But to look at the performance of Pam Bondi yesterday and say it was anything other than trash, you're lying. You're lying. I'm sorry. At this point, I'm at a loss for words. I have long said that I will support J.D. Vance unless something catastrophic happens. This is the catastrophic happening. You guys understand this, right? You guys get that, right? 7706. Wow, you're stuck on this. Something is wrong with you all. What? Something's wrong with me? Because I'm not going to focus on the Dow? When the world's elites have been comped? That's crazy, man. That is a crazy statement from President Trump. And people that don't see this is like, we all get accused of being in the MAGA cult. All of us do. I get accused of being in the MAGA cult. If you're going, this is old news, we got to move on. It's not. It's not old news until we have charges and people sitting in jail cells or facing a firing squad. That's when it becomes old news, once it's resolved. Until then, it's current news, and the current attorney general has been dropping the ball since she got into office. Why didn't you ask Merrick Garland? Good point, says Ted Lieu. We should have. Merrick Garland also dropped the ball. Bill Barr also dropped the ball. Jeff Sessions also dropped the ball. Loretta Lynch also dropped the ball. But now the Trump administration has an opportunity to fix it. They campaigned on it. What are we doing? It's a trash statement. It's a trash statement. Insane. And I'm a Trump guy. I am a Trump guy. But this, and then they're going to want us to walk into 2028 blindly supporting J.D. Vance? No. You have to earn my vote. And one of the ways that you're going to earn my vote is with accountability here. We the people demand accountability. I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit on my hands on this one. Has the Trump administration done good things? Absolutely. Are they better than the Kamala Harris administration? Without a doubt. But this issue needs to be resolved, and it only gets resolved one way. Names and handcuffs. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. The Music City Loop just got a little closer to full approval. A key committee with the Metropolitan Nashville Airport Authority voting to advance an agreement with the Boring Company. It would see the airport authority receiving $34 million in license fee revenue, more than $300 million in fees from pickups and drop-offs. That agreement gets a vote from the full Board of Commissioners later this month. And the city of Deckard is suing Nissan. The city says its water system has faced significant losses. They accuse the Nissan powertrain plant of receiving unmetered water since 2018. Tullahoma News says the lawsuit seeks reimbursement for its losses plus compensation for legal fees. On a 218-213 vote, the United States House passed the Save America Act. The bill requires photo ID at polling places. Newly minted Congressman Matt Van Epps telling Dan Mandis this morning there's more to it, though.
It requires states to obtain documentary proof of U.S. citizenship in person when registering an individual to vote. And it requires states to check for non-citizens and ineligible registrants on their rolls monthly.
Senate takes up the Save America Act now, most saying it won't have easy passage there. And after making some 4,000 arrests, border czar Tom Homan ending Operation Metro Surge in Minneapolis.
We now have the ability to arrest criminal aliens in the safety and security of jails throughout the state at the time they're being released, like we've done in other states.
In a morning press conference, Homan says some agents are staying in Minnesota so they can still quickly retrieve criminal illegal aliens from jails. 3,300 missing migrant children have been rescued, he says. And from Los Angeles, damaging emails have been revealed in a trial over whether social media sites are designed to be addictive.
This case is centered on a now 20-year-old who says social media apps are to blame for her having anxiety, depression, and body image issues. Her attorney yesterday presented emails that showed experts had warned Instagram executives that the platform's so-called plastic surgery face filters could have harmful impacts for users' mental health.
That's ABC's Trevor Alt and the latest news. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:05, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. You need a water filtration system, you need a water softener. Why? Why would you need either of those things?
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
There's a reason. BetterWater.com. It's funny again. It's funny again. We take breaks from using that because it becomes unfunny, and then we bring it back, and then it's funny again.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, we do overuse it sometimes, but it's tasteful.
I think it's funny. I'm getting so many texts, and it's crazy to see the audience split on this issue. You know, the Epstein files we've been talking about, and we've been going on and on and on about the Epstein files. And I read the statement from President Trump, and I'm not impressed. He thinks Pam Bondi did a good job yesterday. And I don't know how you can look at that hearing objectively and say Pam Bondi did a good job when they're asking her about Epstein and the elites that were complicit, co-conspirators, etc. And she says, "What about the Dow?" It's like, I'm sorry. I was yesterday years old when I found out that the DOJ impacts the Dow. It's interesting. Yet. I get texts like 6052 texted in. 6052 said, "Nobody gives a damn about the files. There's so much more important things to worry about." Is there, though? Is there? If our elected officials are compromised, blackmailed, and voting or doing things because of that, it changes the whole dynamic of the entire country. It changes the dynamic of everything. So I completely disagree with you. And I think the mishandling of this by the Trump administration from the jump has been disastrous, to say the least. Unforced error after unforced error after unforced error. We're only here today because of the unforced errors. You know that, right? Like when Bondi gave out those binders, that was the beginning of all of this. When Bondi got caught on a hidden camera, that was the beginning of all of this. When she said the files are sitting on her desk, that began all of this. And then they said, "Oh, by the way, there's no more files." And, he acted alone. And those kids were just sexually assaulted by no one. They're by ghosts. I just don't understand. I do not understand. 615-737-9986. It's your show, not mine. Let's go to Jeff on the road on Bondi and the Dems. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Now that I forgot 90% of what I probably wanted to say. Look, my issue with Pam Bondi and the whole Epstein thing is that once charges are filed, they're going to start some statute of limitations. We all know that. And could it be because the Republican term is just barely over a year and it's going and it's running, and if you charge these people now, is there a chance that some newcomers, Democrats, clean cuts, could come in and start convincing the Democrats that are hanging on that they're going to, make a better run at it. They're going to clean up the things that the last Democratic Party has done and so forth. That's my thoughts, that maybe they're just waiting. Maybe the Trump administration is just waiting closer to the end of the 4-year term to make these charges so that we can win the next election.
I don't think we win midterms if this doesn't get resolved. Let's and then we have a lame duck presidency. Like they just, everybody's worried about midterms. Well, somebody think of the Dow, and it's like, no. We're not going to win midterms if this is how we're acting on one of the biggest cases in American history. I think Thomas Massey was absolutely right when he said this is bigger than Watergate. This is and Bondi yesterday deflected and kept saying, well, why didn't you ask Merrick Garland all this stuff? And it's like, okay, true, fair critique. And Massey has his own motivations, I'm sure, which is a fair critique. But what about Nancy Mace? And what about Lauren Boebert? And what about Tim Burchett? What about, let's go down the line. Everybody wants accountability for this stuff. We're not going to win midterms if we keep saying, well, what about the Dow? Nobody cares. What about the satanic pedophiles that are ruling us in the highest of institutions that it feels like the Trump administration is now covering for? And it's hard to argue for the Trump administration. I am a Trump defender. How do you defend this? Honestly, how do you get on Truth Social this morning and say Pam Bondi did a fantastic job at yesterday's hearing? She didn't. And anybody objectively watching that knows it. Everybody knows it.
Did you ask Merrick Garland that the last 4 years? Did you talk about Epstein?
I'm reclaiming my time. I'm glad you're asking about Merrick Garland.
You don't get to reclaim
because
time
this
when
is
you don't-
bigger than
when you can't-
Watergate.
when I don't answer a question the
This
way you
goes
want.
over 4 administrations. You don't have to go back to Biden. Let's go back to Obama. Let's go back to George Bush. This cover-up spans decades, and you are responsible for this portion of it.
You can argue Massey's motivations all you want. The facts that he throws down there are you can't argue with it. You just can't. 615-737-9986. Let's go to who we got? Let's go to John in Kentucky. What's up, John?
Hey, want to give you a shout out, man. You do a great job. Now here's the only thing I got to give to Pam Bondi. Whether she was coerced into doing it, pressured, at least it's come out. Okay, you got to give her credit for that because no AG before that is even wanted to touch the damn thing. Okay, but yeah, Pam Bondi she's in over her head.
I think that's fair.
It's unfortunate that I don't think she's really got the, it's like the statement she came out. Hundreds upon hundreds of lawyers went all through this stuff. Well, she's not looking at every page either. She's got to take, some stuff from other people and take them at their word. I just, and you were right when you pointed out that she had a checkered past before, because this stuff with Florida, and at that point in time. And I just, I would love to love her. You know what I mean? But she's
and I'm with you, John. Like, I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. I didn't like the pick originally. I wanted it to be Matt Gaetz. I thought he was a pit bull off the leash, and I thought he was going to be fantastic. Matt Gaetz came with his own baggage. They said, no, we're going to go with Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi has done nothing of note. I mean, she's done the little things right. And she's arrested some bad guys. Let's give her credit where credit's due. And I don't mean to take away all the credit. But in the grand scheme of things, when the big stuff is on the line, she's blaming Merrick Garland? Like, you can't. It's now it's your job. Now you're in charge.
Absolutely.
Like, you're the captain of the ship now. So why aren't we releasing everything we have?
Very good. You're absolutely right.
I appreciate the call, John. Thank you so much. It's bad, and I played this earlier. I'll play it again. It's bad when I find myself agreeing with Democrats like Ted Lieu.
The July 2025 memo from your Department of Justice stated, quote, we did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. These 2 photos, please put the photos back up. These 2 photos staring you in the face are evidence of a crime and more than enough evidence to predicate an investigation against former Prince Andrew.
The photos are of a 9 to maybe 12-year-old laying on the ground with Prince Andrew eerily, creepily hovering over her.
So I ask you, Attorney General Pam Bondi, why did you shut down this investigation last July, and why have you not prosecuted former Prince Andrew?
I don't believe you asked Merrick Garland these questions when he was Attorney General. And
that's deflection.
I agree with you.
You twice.
I'm reclaiming my time. I agree with you. I agree with you. During the Biden administration, I called for people looking at Epstein files. Merrick Garland dropped the ball, as did Attorney General Bill Barr, as did Alex Acosta, a whole string of failures. But you are in charge. You have the power to change things, to hold these men accountable, and you're doing the opposite. You're protecting them.
And Ted Lieu's right. Ted Lieu is right. Let's go to RD in Colioca. What's up, RD?
Good morning, Chris. Thoroughly enjoy your show, as it is both highly informative and entertaining. Concerning possible cover-up by the Epsteins, look, Chris, I have long wondered if the Clintons, as did that horrendously corrupt FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover, over the years have compiled files of wrongdoing against higher-ups, which would prove to explain why they have continually escaped wrongdoing by themselves.
And I love that you bring up J. Edgar Hoover, because it does highlight that this is not a new playbook. This has been run over and over and over again. And I made the point earlier in the show, how many other Epsteins are there that we don't know about? Like, was Hugh Hefner an Epstein? All of his bedrooms at the mansion were wired for video. What about Diddy? Was Diddy another Epstein? All of his rooms at his mansions were wired for video and audio. Think about the amount of blackmail and compromise you can get on these powerful individuals. And like you said, then you use it to your advantage. And at this point, though, Pam Bondi is the one with the keys to the car, and she's the one saying we're not moving.
You know what, Chris? I'm 76 years old, and you are so right. This cover-up crap is nothing new. I've always tried to stay informed, and brother, this goes on long before my lifetime. It's just a corrupt thing going on there in Washington.
Yep.
So
it's insane.
You know,
Hey, RD, I appreciate you calling in, man. As always, let's go to Robert on the road. What's up, Rob?
Oh, hey, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, man. What's going on?
Look, we agree on 95% of this stuff, and I understand your passion. We have daughters that are exactly the same age, all that stuff. I get it. Look, I think PsyOps has gotten a hold of you pretty good right now because you really are stuck on this. I think Pam Bondi is, somebody said in over her head. I don't think there's anybody that would not be in over their head on this. You've done all the math. But there's so much of it, you're getting the wrong answer.
Okay, so I would ask, what psyop, what psychological operation have I fallen prey to?
Well, we got midterms here coming up, buddy. Trump's got the best economy going that we can ask for. You said that nobody cares about the Dow. I got news for you. He got elected on economy and border security, not on the Epstein files.
Do you think we're going to win the midterms focusing on the economy when the biggest story on the entire planet is going unresolved, and we're getting statements from the Trump administration that Pam Bondi did a great job yesterday, and from Trump himself? Like, that's not a psyop. That's not a psyop. That's the reality.
Actually, it is. It takes psyops takes more forms than you would ever imagine, buddy. And that's coming from somebody that has a brother that was in. So, listen, Dershowitz, a couple years ago, when he had to defend himself on the Epstein stuff on false charges, came out, and this was a couple years ago, and said if these files come out, it will exonerate Trump. Well, lo and behold, look at all the stuff that's come out that pretty much exonerates Trump, right? We're still stuck on this because nobody's releasing names, probably because they can't. If you release all the names, everybody, you just played a clip earlier in your 9 o'clock
Nancy
hour
Mace
or whatever. Yeah, Mace. It's like, oh, I've seen all the names, and to your point, well, say them. She can't.
Well, no, but you can because you have immunity on the House floor.
Okay, so.
Like they absolutely could. I also to say that I'm falling prey to a psyop. I mean,
I do. You're stuck on this.
But this is stuff that we've known.
Are we going to win midterms?
But we've known this. But who cares about the midterms if we're going to be ruled over by blackmailed pedophiles? This stuff has been going on for so long. Like it goes back decades. And like WikiLeaks, were the WikiLeaks emails with Podesta talking about the pizza-related maps and the handkerchiefs? Is that also part of this psyop? Is this a decade-long psyop?
Yeah, it's more than probably a couple of decades. Seriously, this web is so fine, and you're talking about people so powerful. You're not going to take them. Look at Biden. Biden, for all intents and purposes, should have been in jail for the documents that they found. And everybody's like, oh, they gloss over, well, he's president. No. He was a senator at the time. And by law, there is not one senator, that includes Hillary Clinton, that could take anything that classified out of a SCIF. It's illegal. And I know that firsthand, having family that's been there. Okay? I know that firsthand. Nobody went to jail. Clinton didn't go to jail. She had that thing on a server in a condo, in a bathroom. No, she didn't go to jail. Biden didn't go to jail for any of that. Oh, he's just some confused old man or whatever, right? What about his quid pro quo on tape that should have got him impeached and kicked out when he was vice president, talking about the billion in Ukraine?
But that doesn't that go back to they're not going to be held accountable because there's blackmail and these individuals that are supposed to hold them accountable are compromised?
Of course there is. But what's the alternative? To blow it all up? I don't know that we want that.
I'm beginning to see other options. Like what is the alternative that's better than that?
Well, we need to go slowly. I think, let me put it this way. You and I want to plant a tree, right? We both want the tree to be planted. So we plant an oak sapling, right? And I'm trying to be patient and hopeful on this whole thing. And you want it to all of a sudden by tomorrow have 400
but that's so not the truth.
Gonna happen. It's
because
happen.
Because I have been patient. And I've been patient for years, and a lot of us have. A lot of the individuals that were called conspiracy theorists on the internet were called, we were called lunatics and insane.
I agree.
And we have been patient. But we're at the point now where this administration campaigned on releasing these files and holding people accountable. That was supposed to be day one stuff.
Point.
And we're here.
Damned if they do and damned if they don't. Let me point that out. Did they not say at first, hey, you're going to release the files? And they said, fine, let's release the files. Oh, wait, you released the files with all these redacted names. Doggone it, go back in and unredact all those names. So what do? A 3 million page dump with a whole lot of unredacted names.
After they told, but this is after they told us that there were no more files.
Now people are moaning about, you didn't redact. These names should have been redacted. Which one do you want it? You want it redacted or underredacted? You want them all? Or you want? It's a lot, buddy.
There's a huge difference between victim names and co-conspirators, and I think we can both agree on that. And there's also a huge difference between saying that everything's done, there's no more files, and the files are on my desk. And oh, by the way, here's 3 million more files. Pam Bondi has been proven to be lying about this. So why on earth would we just sit here and be like, this is fine?
Well,
you're the meme with the dog and the house is burning down. You go, this is good. This is fine. We got to win the midterms.
Going back to the PSYOPs, if we stay on Epstein, we are going to lose the midterms.
If we don't hold these people accountable, we're going to lose the midterms. You're missing the plot. We're losing the middle. The libertarians are already gone. They're gone. The independents are gone. This is one of the biggest cases in the entire world. And if we don't hold them accountable, it doesn't matter. The midterms are already lost. Not to say if we focus on this too much, we're going to lose the midterms is such it's just false. If we don't focus on this and we don't get it resolved, we're going to lose the midterms. You want to win the midterms? Then we need perp walks and we need handcuffs. I appreciate the call, Robert, though. You were very respectful, and I like that we disagreed. It's 11:24. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Back pain, neck pain, knee pain, numbness in your arms or legs. If you're dealing with any of these things, you don't have to be dealing with them. You can make one phone call today to the Wellness Institute of Nashville and be on your way to a pain-free life. What's up? It's Chris Hand, Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley. They are the best at getting you back to a pain-free life, and they're not using opioids. They're not using painful injections, and they're not going to offer surgery. What they're going to do is they're going to use state-of-the-art equipment. In fact, they just got their hands on a brand-new device. They're the only office in Tennessee to have this. It's called the HydroWave. It's going to stimulate stem cells for real cellular healing. You pair that with their non-surgical spinal and knee decompression, and this is as advanced as it gets. You're not going to find any other office in Middle Tennessee with this kind of tech. These guys are using anti-gravity machines, robot lasers, and they'll kick it old school. They'll actually review your MRI and explain it to you and then tell you how to fix it. A pain-free life is within reach for you. but it starts with a phone call. 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or find them online, painisbad.com.
The surge is over, but ICE agents aren't going anywhere. Details coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. It is 11:28. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. People are asking me not to talk about this anymore. Do you see that? And then other people are like, "Don't stop talking about this.
This is big."
It's like, I don't know. Like, if you don't have arrests, how do you expect to win the midterms? I mean, this is a real question. And there are guys out there that are bellwethers for this. Like, you understand, right? Like Joe Rogan is a public bellwether. He's hanging on to this. Sean Ryan, another one, bellwether. He's hanging on to this. Are they also caught up in the psyop? I don't think it is a psyop. I think people have just been fed up, and enough is enough, and we want answers and we want arrests. I'm going to turn over the rest of the show to you. We're going to skip the lightning round. There's a lot of people on the line that want to get in and weigh in with their opinion. Mike, John, Jeff, Al. I do have time for Marie before we hit the news with Ken Weaver. Marie, what's up?
Chris?
Yes, ma'am.
I love your show. Chris, you are spot on. Chris, the guy before that you were talking to doesn't get it. He has kids. He has girls. Wow, shame on him. He doesn't get it. You exactly get it. We are not a third world country. We are not these countries that it's natural to marry a 9-year-old or rape a 9-year-old, having babies. We are the United
What about the and this is another thing that we haven't even talked about, Marie. What about the the New Mexico ranch that Epstein basically had a baby making factory? Like, what happened to those kids that are born without birth certificates? Like, it is so much deeper and darker than anybody wants to admit or acknowledge.
If we don't get a hold of this, we have lost everything. And you are right. There is never ever. We have to be the example. We are the United States of America.
Amen.
We have to lead in this. This has to show people, all the men, all the women,
Stay away from children. These are minors. It is a crime. You go to prison. I don't care who you are, what your position is in life, how powerful you are. You are a criminal. It is the worst crime ever to commit against a child. And that's all I have to say. Chris, you're spot on. And any of your listeners that disagree with you, they either don't have children or, you know what, they don't have morals, because you are spot on. Keep doing what you're doing. And those women, all the kids that were abused, all need to get together and bring a lawsuit and smash every single one of these people that were involved. And that's all I have to say.
Marie, I appreciate the call, and I really do. And I would just say to those victims, like, and to the members of Congress who know the names, like, everybody needs to start speaking up. Everyone. The victims need to say something. The politicians need to say something. Like, enough. The public is ready for this. I think, 10 years ago when this stuff was being discussed online, the public wasn't ready for these kinds of conversations. They're ready now. We'll get to your phone calls on the way. It's 11:32. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Well, the surge is over, but ICE agents aren't going anywhere. Border Czar Tom Homan says he's drawing down ICE and border agents in Minneapolis, but don't be fooled. He says those agents who remain in Minnesota are working smarter, not harder now.
We now have the ability to arrest criminal aliens in the safety and security of jails throughout the state at the time they're being released, like we've done in other states. I've also directed the strategic placement of officers in certain areas throughout the states that can respond quickly to sheriffs that want to release somebody and notify us. We need to be nearby so they don't hold them unnecessarily. So we worked on a strategic plan to reassign officers in those key locations.
He says the drawdown's already begun, and they've rescued 3,300 children who had been in the country illegally without their parents. Flu activity at a high in Tennessee, and there's a lot of flu cases in Coffee County. Now the schools say they'll be closed today and tomorrow to allow students and staff to rest and recover and reduce the spread of illness. A heads up for commuters about a closure on 65 tonight. TDOT says it's going to shut down all lanes of I-65 north in Sumner County and then close US 31 west in both directions. This so crews can work on a new bridge there. The closures will last tonight and tomorrow night, 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. Detours will be posted. And in the Nancy Guthrie disappearance, investigators testing for DNA evidence from gloves found near Guthrie's home. And after releasing the video of the person at the front door of her home, authorities are following up on 18,000 tips. ABC News contributor and retired FBI agent Richard DeFrankel explains how investigators can parse through so many leads.
You have the big data programs that you can put these leads into. You can look for certain specificity to this case that would make it more of a priority than not. You also have the agents and the analysts and the detectives.
18,000 tips in a week and a half. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Just a side note, love hearing pro-life commercials on Super Talk. Shout out to those guys. It's Chris Hand here for my friend Aaron Parker over at Parker Safes and Vaults in Shelbyville. If you like your firearms and you like keeping them safe, you want to protect them with a real safe, this is where Parker Safes and Vaults come in. It's not a tin box that a teenager can tip over. You're getting a real safe. They carry UL-rated TL and TR safes. These are tested and certified to resist tool and torch attacks. This is the kind of protection that you want for your firearms, your cash, your jewelry, your precious metals, anything that you need protecting, including, the stuff that you don't want to lose, the passports, the photo albums. Aaron Parker runs the business the old-fashioned old-fashioned way, veteran-owned, Christian family business. They've been doing it since 2009. These guys answer their phones, they show up on time, and they only sell products that they would trust in their own home. Now, you can see a detailed review of every safe they have in stock. Aaron Parker has a YouTube channel. Just search for Parker Safes on YouTube and get a breakdown of every safe that they have. Find the safe that's right for you. And then give my guy a call. They deliver and service to Nashville and the surrounding areas. Shelbyville is not another country. They can come to you. It starts with a phone call, 931-842-6445, 931-842-6445, or you can find them online, parkersafes.com. It's 11:39, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You're welcome to join the show any way you would like. 615-737-9986. That's the number to text in and to call in. You can also jump in the YouTube chat. YouTube chat's always jumping. Appreciate you guys over there as well. We're ditching the lightning round today. There's a lot of interaction with everybody on the phone line. So we'll just turn it over to you guys with the phone calls. The Epstein topic is massive. 2214 said, food for thought. Hollywood is entirely implicated. Lots of money in Hollywood. Yep, I completely agree. And I've been in some dark places on the internet where you look at Hollywood, the imagery, things like panda eyes. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It's super dark. And then, you look at guys back in the day like Isaac Cappy, who was trying to expose a bunch of this stuff and was looked at as a lunatic. And then he committed suicide, strangely enough. Always seems to happen that way. Weird. I say all that to say that I've been in the weeds on the internet on this topic for a long time. There is a responsibility that comes with having a show on Super Talk where you can't fly off the handle at every conspiracy theory that you read on the internet. And things have to be verified. And old school Chris would have dove down the rabbit hole a lot quicker than Chris in 2026. But we're at a point now where this is reaching mass public awareness, and the majority, the overwhelming majority of the American public would like to see some accountability here. Okay? We all would. 615-737-9986. Let's go to Al in Slayton. What's up, Al?
Hey, Chris. The question I want to know is what happened to the underage girl's parents? How did they allow them to even go down there?
Yeah, I mean, this has been a question that has come up quite a few times, and I've always said, you can watch any documentary on any serial predator, and they say that one of the first things they look for is a strong father. Is there a strong father in the home? And if there is, that's not the home that you're going to target, right? You're going to target the kids whose parents are drug addicts. You're going to target the single mom's family who, the mom's working 2 jobs and trying to make ends meet. That's who you target. You're not going after good families.
Yeah, they've had plenty of time to get to the bottom of this. They're just hem-hawing around, and it's like you said, it's money. Somebody's been silenced because their pockets are being grazed.
Yep. That could be the case in some of these situations. That might not be the case in all of them. I think that there is enough victims out there that the demand for justice is real. Let's go to Mike. You're up next on Super Talk. What's up, Mike?
Hey, how you doing, Chris?
Good. What do you got?
Man, I'm with you 100% on the Pam Bondi thing, and she's really screwed the pooch on this one.
Yeah.
Trump campaigned on this. Every campaign rally he had, he talked about it. And suddenly he's like, it doesn't need to be out. Don't do it.
It's
not a big deal.
It's an unforced error and a huge mistake by the Trump administration.
It is totally. One of many, but I think this is one of the biggest ones right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. And then the more we learn about these names, the worse it gets. I made the comment just a couple minutes ago. I've been in some dark corners of the internet and learning things that people don't often talk about. Rep. Thomas Massey revealed just a couple days ago that there's an email going around from the Epstein files where somebody's talking about torture, and he revealed that the name of the individual who is a co-conspirator was identified as Sultan Ahmed bin Salem. And he's a frequent attendee of the World Economic Forum. He's the CEO of DP World. And that's one of the world's largest logistics companies headquartered in Dubai. And that tracks. I don't know how much you know about Dubai, but mamas, don't let your girls go model in Dubai. They have a thing called the Porta Potty VIP party, and there's so many stories of these allegations of abuse in some of these things. One of the big ones was a 21-year-old Ukrainian OnlyFans model. She was found severely injured on the side of a road in Dubai, missing for over a week. Following what she told friends was an invitation to a hotel party. She had a broken spine, multiple broken limbs, required multiple surgeries. Authorities initially said she had fallen from a construction site, but her family and the media reports that is not the case. They believe that she was attacked and possibly abused after attending one of these VIP parties. And it's like there's so many stories like this out there. Where there's smoke, there is fire, and we need to hold these monsters accountable. We cannot let this continue going on. Like, we're going to have to answer to somebody at a certain point. And I hope it's not tomorrow for me, but when I do, I want to be able to answer with a clear conscience. And if we're going to just say, guys, hey, midterms. It's like, that is not acceptable. Oh, but hey, the Dow. No, that is not cool either. It's just not. And spoiler alert, if this Epstein stuff goes on, we're not winning the midterms anyway. We're just not. We're not. It's crazy. I don't know how people can't understand this. Let's go to Dan in Beech Grove. What's up, Dan?
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Very good, thank you. I just got a quick question. My wife last night was looking online, and she said there's a conspiracy theory that the lady that got kidnapped, that disappeared, Savannah Guthrie's mother,
yeah,
that Savannah Guthrie's husband works for Hillary Clinton as the cleaner, and that her disappearance has to do with, like you're talking about, the Epstein files, how big it is. I'm just curious if you've heard anything about that.
So, I mean, I've seen the theory around online, and if I'm being honest with you, I haven't given it too much time. I think that there's enough. There's muddying the waters, right? And like I see I see some of that as that. There's enough in front of us that we can sink our teeth into and demand answers for without going off on wild goose chases. And this same stuff happened during the Pizzagate stuff, right? Like there was legitimate emails in the WikiLeaks dump from Julian Assange about John Podesta that were odd and deserved and warranted more investigation. But instead, we went off on wild tangents about Comet Ping Pong, and then there was a gunman showing up there. It's like, I don't want to get distracted from the main point. And the main point is demanding accountability for the co-conspirators that are in the files. Once we get that done, I'm fine to cross other bridges and see where it leads us. But I don't want to start off in left field when we need to start at home plate. Does that make sense?
All right, thank you. Have a great day.
Appreciate you, man. Let's go to John in Mount Juliet. What's up, John?
Hey, buddy. You got it. You're spot on. The lady that called a few minutes ago that said that you got it. She's spot on.
Marie.
The guy before her, he didn't get it. There's only one. You can't tiptoe through the tulips on this thing. There's only one way to get to this. That's burn it down. Find out who's guilty, and if we have to open a damn handcuff manufacturer, open it up.
Yep.
But this thing needs to get burnt down. We need to find out who these scumbags are and have them held accountable.
I'm with you.
This is a perfect example of how this government is not a government of the people. We're demanding to know who these scumbags are, and what are they doing? They're sitting up there hiding behind the dirtbag that was in office before her.
Yep. She keeps going. She keeps saying, "What about Merrick Garland?" It's like, okay, that's great. We're not here. We're not there anymore. We're here today. Merrick Garland is not walking in to testify. Like, we demand answers from you, the top cop in the country.
I'd like to know why Hillary Clinton ain't in jail. There's a bunch of them up there that's guilty of treason, outright treason. Where are their handcuffs?
I'm with you, John. It's so frustrating, man.
Until we burn this thing down, we cannot take our country back. As long as there's a two-tiered justice system in this country, we do not have a justice system.
And I'm with you. And I don't think that we need to get belligerent, and I don't think we need to get violent, and I don't think we need to act outlandish, but we do need to demand justice. And I don't know what that looks like yet, but I think we need to continue getting loud. We can't drop this issue.
I don't know. I don't know what it looks like either, buddy, but we need to this needs to happen, or it needs to happen now.
Yep. I'm with you, brother.
I love you guys.
Hey, love you back, bro. Appreciate you. That's John in Mount Juliet. I mean, listen, the files came out, and the files have shown that Trump was not part of the swamp, right? Like that's what we learned, especially with the file where it said that he reached out to Palm Beach Police Department, said, listen, it's not just Epstein. You got to look at Maxwell. She's evil. She's an operative. But I'm sorry, at this point, how do you look at Pam Bondi and think that she is anything other than a swamp creature? This is swamp activity. We elected Donald Trump to drain the swamp. We're still waiting. We're still waiting. And the longer we have to wait, the more Trump doubles down on True Social this morning saying, gee whiz, Bondi did a great job at that hearing. No, she did not, sir. And that feels like swamp activity to me. Massey's right. when he says 4 administrations look the other way. And every single one of us can agree Obama and Bush and Clinton were swamp creatures. Trump got in to drain it. Like, we're demanding, Mr. President, that you step up and you hold these people accountable. Massey's motivations are Massey's motivations, and we can have a debate about that. But it's not just Massey. And to hang on to it and be like, oh, Massey's just mad. Massey's just upset. He's a rhino. That's not going to cut it. It's just not. They're all bad. They all knew about Epstein. Sessions and Barr knew about Epstein. Sessions and Barr didn't look into the Podesta emails. They didn't care. Were they compromised? These are questions we have to ask. Thomas Massey said that this is a bigger cover-up than Watergate. He's absolutely right. This spans decades. This is an old playbook. We just want accountability. That's it. It's 11:51. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 11:56, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Chad Benson is at an ice rink, I can only assume, surrounded by Penguins and Canadians. You're at the curling challenge. What's up, dude? How are you?
Dude, I'm out here at T-Line. We're getting ready to rock and roll the curling. Ken and I we're taking on the Slovakians in about an hour from now.
Good.
We're going to whoop them. We're going to whoop them up big time, so it's pretty awesome.
Somebody needs to put those Slovakians in their place.
Yeah, it's about time. They think they're the most powerful nation on the planet.
Sick of it. I'm sick of Slovakian supremacy.
Nah. You know what, though, man? It is awesome out here.
Is it? Tell me about the scene. Paint the picture for me.
So you walk in. First of all, when you walk outside, they got like nice area in the front where you can sit down. You can play that big giant Tetris game. They've got cornhole. They got a nice fireplace, TVs. Then you walk in. They got an amazing bar. They've got 3 lanes of bowling, and then the giant, huge glass panels and doors that lead out to 2 massive curling areas. It's awesome, dude. This place is amazing.
So I was watching curling last night on the Olympics, and I found myself thinking, I don't know any of the rules. And I feel like Americans get excited about curling once every couple of years, and then we still don't know the rules. Are they teaching you while you're doing this, or does everybody pretend to know what they're doing?
So there's a class going on right now, and they got a bunch of people down there, and they're showing them, how to sweep, how you sweep this way to make the giant stone go this way, you sweep this way, and they're getting out there to do it. And then the guy's getting ready to show them now how you do the slide. And it's really a trip because they've got these, it's almost like sprinter things that you put your feet in when you push off.
Yeah, because it's not ice skates.
No, it's not.
It's crazy. Have you done it yet? Have you been out there on the ice?
Yeah, I was getting ready to go too, but they told me don't touch the ice, and I'm like, fine, whatever. We're gonna go later though. I'm pretty pumped about it. So because both are being used right now, but it's interesting because some people are new at this, and you could tell because the first thing when you push off, you're more concerned about where you go rather than letting it go straight. So everybody starts to go one way or another. It's great, though. It looks fun, and it's way longer than you think.
8811 texted in and said the USA team for curling mixed doubles is from Nashville, and T-Line is actually their home rink.
T-Line's their home rink?
That's what,
awesome.
Listen, this is a super texter, so I don't know that to be fact, but yeah, that's what they say. T-Line's their home rink.
We had a guy who won yesterday, and he's the oldest Winter Olympian we ever had. He's like 55. He's a curler, and he's an attorney during the day because it's not like this isn't their full-time gig. So, but I didn't know. I mean, why couldn't we? The guy that's teaching out here, he told me he's from Florida.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
He's I've been playing for 17 years. I'm like, they have curling in Florida?
So you're doing your show out there live. Murphy's going to be doing a show out there live. Where exactly is T-Line located?
Okay, it's in Ken, you know better. How do you get here?
It's in the Nations. It's you take the Whites Creek Pike exit off of I-40 going westbound, and then you make a quick left turn onto Robinson, straight up to Duluth, turn right on Duluth, and voila, you will see T-Line curling.
Well, I'm jealous, man. You guys are going to have a bunch of fun out there today. What are you talking about on your show, Chad?
We're going to probably talk about some Epstein stuff later, but we're also going to talk about the whole Savannah Guthrie thing. One of the things being missed is the fact that Nest is always filming you.
Isn't that
so
crazy?
Is Ring, so is Blink, so is everybody else. And just because you don't subscribe doesn't mean they don't get your pictures. And that is an interesting thing. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk
how soon do you think the FBI had that footage? Do you think they sat on it for a couple days? Because I feel like it was a lot easier for them to get the footage than they made it seem it was easy to get.
I have to be – the reality is I do believe that the FBI has not done a great job on this, and they have dropped the ball, and that's what the local police are saying on more than a few occasions. I think they could have got it sooner. But I don't know if anybody asked. I figured, they don't have a subscription because I think there's too many. Sometimes there's too many cooks in the kitchen. So, but again, they now have a tent in the backyard. Normally, that's the kind of thing when you're digging for a body or something.
Yikes!
Yeah, so that's a little weird. So we're gonna see. We'll talk about that. We had a bunch of other stuff to talk about, including AI. And the fact that all of these people are quitting these big AI places and saying, hey, I'm going to go write poetry. You guys have a good day.
Yeah. It seems safer, you know. The poetry never takes over the country and launches nukes. So at least not to my knowledge. Chad Benson is out there at T-Line, the White Bridge Road exit. Go see those guys. Chad will be out there. Matt will be out there. It's going to be a lot of fun. 12:01 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.